And we are back live with the Blamegirl Podcast with
Mr. Terry Wayne.
And we got Vee Shally actually in the house, literally. Welcome, Vee. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Vee, how was your weekend?
It was good. It was good.
What'd you have going on?
Well, Friday I went to the therapy sessions open mic.
Mhm.
It was a very good time at the Peach in West Palm Beach.
I went last month. Yes, that's Dane.
Yeah. And I've never been to the Peach before either. So it's just really cool.
Is that the one that's like outside?
It's outside. They have art studios all around and then a big stage right in the middle.
Yeah.
So they must have changed it because the time that I went there was inside.
You didn't go to the Peach. You went to Skunkworks.
No, I went to the Peach. Therapy sessions. 100%. Don't I look like I need therapy?
No, you're thinking of the one that's downtown, the Alchemist.
Yeah.
The Peach was like there's like a big open space. There's a really good food place right there.
There's
Okay.
Like
And then there's a stage in the back, and that's where everyone.
They just kept calling it therapy sessions, the one that I went to. But you're right. It was on Clematis. It was downtown there. It's the one that's near that Irish, that Mick bar.
I can't. It's on the tip of my tongue.
It doesn't matter. It's where white guys get drunk. That's
All right. So did you do anything Saturday or Sunday?
So Saturday, Sunday, we had game night with my friends. Sunday, our usual D&D
Mhm.
weekly game nights. And
You play D&D?
I do.
Dang. I have a character. I have to get down.
Okay. So Terry, how was your weekend?
Mine was good. I spent it catching up on things, a lot of cooking this weekend.
What'd you make this weekend?
I got some new peppers in, so I obviously went with some chili.
I'm aware.
Yep, some slow roast chili, which you have some in the kitchen that I brought for you.
Yeah.
The beans are a little underdone. Some people don't like it. I like the beans underdone.
Are they
There's a-
crunchy or what's under?
There's a little crunch to them.
Ooh.
But I like that because chili is such a soupy kind of thing. It gives a nice little texture contrast.
And then over time, it'll kind of.
Yeah, they'll soften up. Yeah, if you leave it, they'll soften up. But I like it that way. And then some creme brulees, which I brought you guys one to share.
We're gonna have. Maybe we should let you torch it instead of do words for white people.
Maybe we will. Maybe we'll do creme brulees for white people.
And words for
'Cause-
white people. Why not?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So very good. Did you
Food is
do?
love.
You just slaved out in the kitchen over the weekend, huh?
Well, I don't say slave. For me, you know me. I've told you this. For me, cooking's a meditation
Mhm.
because it's one of the few things in life that it doesn't matter what the world says. It doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter what anything says. You get exactly out of it what you put into it. If you put all the effort and the work into it, you get that out of it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. You can be kind of a dick, but it doesn't matter. You put the effort in, you get the effort out.
It's like a good safe space for Terry.
Yeah,
It's,
Definitely is.
it
I don't
allows
trust.
for him
I
to
don't
be a
trust
dick.
people.
He ain't gotta talk to nobody.
I don't trust people, but I trust ingredients all
All
day.
right. Well, my weekend was great.
Nobody cares.
Yep. Everybody cares because I had an exciting weekend. Actually,
That's a running gag, baby.
I actually had an exciting week. As you know, I tried to do the podcast last week from Austin, and it
Terrible.
was
Terrible.
not great.
Terrible.
Not a great show.
Poor
Um,
Jordan Garnett.
I was
Had
eating
to
dinner with my
suffer through it.
sister, trying to do Kill Tony. I didn't get to go up, so that's okay. But I did a lot of comedy in Austin, some good networking, and then I had the show in Fort Walton on Friday. And so that was how my weekend began. I was in Fort Walton, enjoyed it. I love that place. I'd go back. And then I came back home Saturday and kept going. Like I ended up going to the Triple F podcast. They have a show that they did at the Sober House. What was it called, Shandy?
Triangle Club.
The Triangle Club. We went and checked that out. And then Sunday, I went and saw my friend, one of my best friends. She's ailing. So I went and checked on her. And then we went to a party last night at a fucking mansion, basically. So it was great. Yeah. I'm not gonna put the comic on blast that had that party, but wow, it was a nice house. So it was a lot of fun. I feel like, you know what? I feel like maybe his family worked for Big Oil.
Why?
I don't know, because that house looks like someone who worked for Big Oil would have owned that house. But speaking of Big
You can
Oil,
make money everywhere.
the Big Oil, I know, I'm just transitioning.
I know, I
Terry.
hate
For
your
fuck's
transitions.
sake,
I hate 'em.
Jesus.
They're so bad.
The big oil companies, this second quarter, they made $2,245.62 per second. Who's to blame?
The US government, the same government that's allowed these companies to make billions and billions of dollars in profit every single year. And then gas prices rise and some idiot puts, Biden's picture on a gas pump and says, I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he didn't. And now that gas prices are coming down, I give him no credit. You know why I give him no credit? Because I gave him no blame when they went up.
So you do not blame Biden clearly in this.
No, because I used to have a Series 3 license, which anybody who knows what a Series 3 license is, that's a commodities exchange license
Mhm.
to trade commodities. Oil is a commodity that gets traded on the Chicago Stock Exchange for commodities. Same with a lot of other staples in life. Corn is another one, gold, silver, platinum, palladium. Even so much as pork belly or bacon.
Sounds like capitalism to me. Why
It
don't we
is.
let our
It's
guests
fucking,
chime
it's a
in?
rigged game.
V, what do you think here?
Well, so it was
2000.
it was a record in profit, not revenue, right? So they
Mhm.
could have lowered prices and made the same profit they made
100%.
last quarter, but
Yeah.
chose not to. So
Exactly.
it's not the
Well,
companies.
you know who I blame? I blame the individual people that work there because they are like everybody else.
They're the
They're trying-
shareholders
well-
too, by the way.
Well, they're trying to save their job. And by saving their job, you know what that means? That means you got to have that 4% growth every single year without, excuses, without consequence. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you don't have that 4% growth that Roger had last year, you're out, he's in. That's it.
I think-
And there's this constant demand in corporate America where it always has to be the best year. It's always got to be a better year than last year. And nothing works that way. Life doesn't work that way.
I mean, that's just capitalism, and we live in America.
No, it isn't. It's fucked up, is what it is.
Why don't we let? What were you saying, V? Who do you think's to blame?
Well, obviously the companies for raising the prices would be the direct blame, but I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
you could make a case that we could regulate it like we regulate other utilities, the way we
Yeah.
regulate water and electricity, that you cap their profits at a certain rate.
That would
Absolutely.
that would be so unfair.
FBNL
Oh my
is
God.
regulated. They only get to make so much.
right.
And
I wish we could do our country like that. I really do. But
We
they'll
do.
be like, "That's not freedom."
but we do that. We just don't do it with oil companies.
I think what I
They're
think,
too powerful.
I think the
at this point.
oil companies, they have capitalized, if you will, pardon the expression,
Mm.
pun intended, on inflation right now due to the Russian withholding of oil. They really
That's
didn't.
bullshit. That's
they really-
such a bullshit
Excuse
argument.
me.
All right.
They really did not need to raise gas prices based on that because, as Bernie Sanders said, the last time barrels were 300 something dollars a barrel, gas was $3 a gallon.
Mhm.
So
Well, and 2 years ago, if you guys don't remember, 2 years ago, oil was basically worthless because it cost more to store it and refine it than it was worth. So it was literally the first time in American history that oil went to a negative number on the commodities market.
Mm.
It was literally, you could have bought all the oil you wanted to, stored it, and then sold it now for a record profit. This is all that is. It's those oil companies have decided that they're going to make up for all the money they lost in 2020 by raising prices now over a bullshit argument of oh, they invaded Ukraine and oh, there's a there's a ban on Russian oil. We
What
don't
about
get
this one?
any oil from Russia. It's like in the single digits.
what about this
percentage-wise.
one?
It's nonsense.
A supply chain interruption. Like there's all these other things that they are blaming it on, and they're just gassing us up, if you will.
Yeah, and the same way that a married man blames his sex addiction for why he cheated on his wife. It's bullshit. It's an argument to do what you want to do and get away with it. That's all it is.
All right. You know who's making an argument to do what they want to do and get away with it lately?
A segment.
Is this bishop in New York. His name is Bishop Lamar Whitehead, and he was robbed on live streaming during a live streaming service. But he was also accused of stealing $90,000 from a parishioner. Who's to blame?
I'm gonna let her go first, because I have intimate knowledge on this one.
Are we asking who's to blame for stealing the 90K from the parishioner? or-
Wherever you want to go with it, V. Wherever your mind goes first.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I guess the bishop for stealing 90K from it,
Yeah. So you think, does that mean that
Well,
The
the bishop was
robbery?
robbed.
the robbery was okay?
was the rob. Well, I was reading the article that you had sent, and I wondered
Mhm.
who wears, because it said he was wearing $1 million of
Yes.
jewelry
Mhm.
during the service.
Yeah.
And I
He's a
guess
holy man.
But
by
that's
the way,
the thing.
a clergyman.
They
So-
robbed him.
Right.
They didn't rob the church. They
So,
robbed
so I
him.
can't imagine what $1 million of jewelry even looks like on a person. And I would imagine it's a lot, or
Yeah.
it's small things worth a lot. So it almost sounds like some
Looks-
kind of insurance fraud. Like,
looks
yeah,
like
I have $1
ice.
million of
That's
jewelry, sure, but it's not real. But now I can
Ooh.
claim that it's stolen and claim insurance.
And it
on
was
the
on.
theft.
Oh man.
Now she's right. Now you're on his own, because that's where I was going with it.
He's
Because I
a
know how
grift-
I know how
he
these
is
people think.
grifter.
All right. What he did was he's like, you steal the jewelry, sell it, we'll whack up the money together, and then I'll collect the insurance. That's immediately where my mind went when I heard this story.
I did not even consider that because
Yeah.
I'm not a criminal, so
Now
I
he's
wouldn't have thought
making
that.
now he's making 150% on what was stolen.
Yeah.
The robbers get $500,000, or it's stolen, so it's probably like more like 200 grand. But whatever, it
So-
doesn't matter. They get money, he gets a lot of money.
So you don't even think this is a situation of karma coming to bite him. You think that he's just exploiting his position of power.
Well, look,
He's a grifter. He was in prison. And yes, he has all this luxury goods, diamonds, jewels. And the parishioner that he was accused of stealing $90,000 from, what he did was told this parishioner that he'd help them keep their house, and they had to pay him $90,000 and in increments of $100 a month, right? So that would have taken
ever.
decades.
Yeah, all the time.
But he used that income, right, to get approved for his own $1 million house that he was getting.
Yep.
Woo. So
Nobody works the system like pastors.
it's just exploiting the system.
I'm serious. Look, my father's been a pastor since the day I was born.
What are you saying about your dad?
I'm not saying that. My father's a stand-up guy. He's always has been. However, I've been in the mix, in that Christian pastor preacher mix my
Mhm.
whole life. And that's just the way they think, is like, if there's a crack, I'm going through it. If there's a loophole, I'm going to exploit it.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. And so when I hear this, the first thing I think is, who the fuck are your parishioners
Yeah.
that are coming, and you got $1 million worth of gold on you, and then they're turning over their money to you? Like, seriously, like, how dumb are you? If
Yeah,
you're a
yeah,
pastor,
if you're wearing Gucci, why wouldn't you
Well,
turn
it
that,
reminds me
spend that on the church?
it
the
reminds me of
congregation?
Creflo Dollar out of Georgia,
Mhm.
big televangelist pastor in the Black community, told his parishioners, said, we're gonna raise $40 million to buy this private jet for me. Like, yeah, no, this is accurate. And he's
Yeah.
not even the only one. There's
No, I
plenty of
remember
them
this.
that want these private
He
jets.
needed it. God said he needed it.
Yeah, and they
also.
do
They make
funding
things,
campaigns
but
for these private jets.
These-
It's like, how dumb are you? Leave.
Hear me out.
Leave.
Hear me out. Why not blame our last president? He's the biggest grifter of all and exploited his.
We're gonna get to
Position of
that. That
power.
was my whole. words for
Yeah,
white
like
people later.
he's like, this dude sounds like a black Trump, and he's in New York, so
He's not Black Trump. There are
flashy.
so many of these guys.
Yeah, yeah.
You would be,
The
your
only thing
mind
Trump's
would be
missing
blown.
is he has never been to prison because he is a privileged.
Charlatan
grifter.
pastors is a billion-dollar industry in this country.
Yeah.
Every single year.
Is your dad one? Is that what you were saying?
No, no, my dad lives a very humble life,
Okay,
actually, and does a lot to support the community and the world in general. He still has a school in Nigeria that is still running today.
Well, I don't know about that, but I don't like it. I think like
No, he does.
I just did not.
What do you
agree.
mean?
Like the spreading of Christianity to Africa was
No,
unnecessary.
no,
I'm
no.
just saying.
He gave them a school that is still running today, and it's the only
But it's a
school
Christian
available.
school, right?
Huh?
It's a Christian school, right? They
No,
gotta
this
learn
is
about
just an
God.
educational school.
Oh.
No, no, it's just, this
Okay.
is just education. That's it. But obviously, yes, when he goes over there, he does do sermons. He's the last time he was there, he drew 20,000 people.
I mean,
and
it's
spoke-
already there, so it's not his fault, but I just don't.
Well, I mean, he
Agree.
started, but he also started a prison ministry in Memphis 40 years ago that's still running today.
That's great.
So, like,
God does help some people. you know,
exactly.
like,
What's the harm in saying try this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
no,
It's for some people, it's not
if
for
that's
others.
what
It's fine.
keeps you on a path of being more productive, successful individual. then
Look,
do it.
if Christianity makes you a better person,
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I'm not saying I particularly subscribe. I'm not saying that I don't. I'm
Yeah.
very much on the fence on this and have been for some time. But if it makes you a better person, I don't care what you believe in. I really don't. I don't care if you worship the sun. If it makes you a better person
Let
and a
me
better
ask you
citizen,
this: What if
I'm for it.
What if you're a Christian Klans member? Are you for that? Because I think there's a lot of
As
them-
opposed to what? An unchristian Klans member?
Yeah.
Like an atheist Klans member?
yeah.
Yeah, I would, if I have to choose between a Christian Klans member and an atheist Klans
What
member,
about just
I'm gonna go with a Christian.
what about a Christian Klans member and just an atheist?
I would go for the atheist, obviously. Like, come on, that's
Speaking
a
of
dumb
Christian
question.
Klan members, North Carolina guys,
Just
in
for a
North Carolina,
fucking segue. Really? You throw me under the bus for a segue.
in North Carolina, the entire police force and a couple of county clerks quit after a black town manager was elected. Who's to blame, guys? It's 2022. Why?
Racism, America, white people. I mean,
Pretty simple.
where you want to start?
Let's start with V. What do you think?
Well, I'm from North Carolina, actually.
Oh,
I've
no
never
way.
heard of this town until you sent me the article.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, like Terry said, racism, I can totally see that.
Is that what North Carolina
Nobody
like?
believes you're from North Carolina, by the way. That's
Okay.
Do you want me to punch him in the face?
It's okay.
it's
okay.
I
Like,
do
really,
just right no, you remind me of the I'm sorry joke. Where are you from?
South Carolina,
Yeah, he's
that's
from
true.
South Carolina.
That's
I
pretty
actually
funny.
am.
Yeah.
but,
So tell us, who do you think's to blame? Like, you're from there.
Yeah.
What do you think caused this? Do you think it is racism, or do you think there is something else?
It was interesting that they didn't actually cite any examples of a hostile work environment in their
Yeah.
resignation letters.
Yeah,
I think if there was something like that there, then you could point to like a tangible piece, like, oh, she was always clocking my hours to a T and it was getting to be much. or
I noticed
something.
that as well. That's a good observation. And guys, the article did state that they resigned citing a hostile work environment. But like we said, they never provided any examples of the hostility.
Well, I do this podcast every week in a hostile work environment, and I'm still here. So
It's only work if you get paid. So
that's true.
we ain't getting paid
I
yet.
usually pay.
If we start
less.
getting paid, I'd probably treat you the same. So it's fine.
Well,
but-
that's still hostile. It's very hostile.
You think you're not hostile?
I'm a white
with your
middle-aged
mansplaining.
man with a dick. Like
you're hostile, and that's I feed off of your energy, Terry.
is that right?
Mhm.
I'm just bringing truth. That's all
I feed off of your energy. But anyway, okay. So you,
I think it's also interesting that they said the town was a little under 2,000 people. So how many policemen do you really need
yeah,
for that town? Like, how has crime now like
yeah.
happened since they
Yeah.
all
I'm
resigned?
just gonna
Like,
say
the
it.
town's
I'm
there,
gonna
they
say
seem
it 'cause
fine.
It doesn't seem like either of you are going to say it. Small towns are more racist. Period. End of discussion. They just are. If you don't have a sushi restaurant in your town, you are gonna have more racists. Period. End of discussion.
Look,
You're there. I'm sorry, but the scope of their vision is just more narrow. That's all it is.
I
They
agree with
don't
that
have
in a
that,
sense, but I came from a small town outside of Austin, and
which is why you're racist.
you're just doing my material. Stop it. So we had a black mayor in Cedar Park, Texas, outside of Austin, and Leander had a black mayor, which is even more fucking country. So sometimes small towns are racist, and sometimes they elect fucking black officials, like in the places I grew up, thank God. Even though there were racist people around, but
I'll expand. I don't necessarily mean racist. What I mean is xenophobic. Anything that is new or
Yeah.
different is scary. And that's all it is. That's all it is, because I came from a fairly large town in the South.
Mhm.
Memphis was a hub for a number of years, but it doesn't matter because there was zero influence from the rest of the world. And
Yeah.
because there was zero influence, everything that came new, everything they saw on the news that wasn't down the street was scary. And
Yeah.
and it's very closed-minded. It's a
But-
very narrow-minded way of
okay,
thinking.
what we didn't discuss though is the previous lawsuit that the newly elected town manager had against that county. And that's what they were like, well, she sued the city. You think that plays into them resigning and like not feeling like it's a hostile work environment?
Well, I mean, if you get sued by a person that's now going to be your boss,
Mhm.
yeah, that might create a little animosity.
Yeah,
But I mean, it's a bad look regardless. No matter what the reason,
mhm,
if you resign at mass, when you get a black, mayor elected, it's not gonna look good.
Yeah.
Regardless of what your reasons are. And you gotta think
Yeah.
about that ahead of time.
it does, like this fucking headline, what's this headline right here? Entire Kinley, North Carolina police force resigns, blaming newly elected black town manager. So, yeah, it's gonna look bad, the optics are not good.
Well, I mean, the headline is very misleading.
Yeah, but you're gonna
They
get that
threw
when
in
you,
black town manager. Like, why did that matter?
not
if she
all
was
of them
black?
did, Fox News didn't say anything about her race, so.
What were you gonna say, V?
I didn't realize she sued them. I thought she sued other states and they were saying she's going to sue us next. I didn't quite.
Maybe I read through that too fast, but I thought she had sued that actual town.
No, she's saying she sued Virginia and South Carolina.
I see that right
And now they're worried about North Carolina
I
being
see
sued
that,
as well.
I see that.
You know,
Well, it's her litigiousness that may have made them feel like it's
Mhm.
hostile. Like,
hey, look,
what, are we gonna get sued?
no, at the end of the day, if you work on a police force and you're willing to walk off the job and leave your community stranded based on this political bullshit, you probably shouldn't be a cop to start with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's plenty of good people out there that would take that responsibility and use it appropriately, and use their power appropriately. I'd rather take a handful of people from Wendy's, train them to be cops, because somebody who's never had power in their life, when you give it to them, they respect it. But somebody that's always had power, like
Don't take the manager
like-
from Wendy's, though.
No, no.
Maybe the lawyer.
somebody who's always had power and authority, I don't know if I'm being very clear on this.
Or white people.
But they can
Right.
abuse it. They can abuse it because they've been given too much privilege and too much power
So
for
can
their
black,
whole
there
life.
are some black people that will also abuse their power.
Well, sure.
gonna say,
I saw,
Let her go.
okay.
I was gonna say in Lord of the Flies, each younger male child would then be abusive to the one younger than them. So I don't know, just
Mm.
because you have no
Deep.
power doesn't mean you're gonna be.
You start the cycle of
Yeah.
abuse.
Well,
and-
yeah, exactly. It's
That's
you,
deep.
you take shit when you're green and then you give shit to people when you're not. You give shit
I
to
did
people.
not,
that-
I was not a bully. I was a
Mm.
little bit of a bully yesterday at the party, but that's, when I got older as an adult, I realized that men kind of need to be bullied a little bit, so I do that.
Well,
It's a public service.
there's been studies that have shown that that young men that get bullied at young ages turn out to be more aggressive when they're older.
And those are the
And-
people I believe.
And it's because they're harboring all that built up angst, built up aggression from when they didn't stand up for themselves earlier. And a lot of them have badges now and guns. So that's
And
awesome.
our incels. You know
I don't
what?
know about that.
You know what is good about being an incel? It's unlikely that you'll get AIDS. That's my transition. You're welcome. There's an Instagram model, Gina 2. Some of you may have heard of her. She is connected to sleeping with multiple celebrities, and she just found out within the last few months that she has full-blown AIDS.
Well, I hope it's Kanye.
Oh my God. Who's to blame, y'all? Who's to blame? Gina too, I will say this about her. She's an Instagram model. She's out there living a fast life, linked to Nick Cannon, Chris Brown. She's had AIDS for 8 years. And they said that, she said that she was homeless at one point in time. And so what do y'all think here? She's the blame.
I would say probably poverty and unfortunate circumstances that she had to make so many difficult decisions in her life to support herself that kind of led her on this lifestyle.
Mhm.
It was a really sad story
Yeah.
actually to read.
Yeah.
Well, there's a potential for criminal charges here, because if you knowingly have AIDS and don't inform your partner and they contract it, that's aggravated battery.
Well, she doesn't know how she got AIDS, first of all. They said this is what they said happened. She had HIV. She had it for 10 years and they went untreated. And it developed into AIDS. And I mean, you get really freaking sick when you have, full-blown AIDS, whereas when you have HIV, it seems like something that you can live with and have a decent lifestyle, not to where it like alters your lifestyle too much, other than a lot of medicine.
I thought we didn't cure that. We just came up with a medicine that allowed you to live a full life instead.
Mhm.
Am I wrong about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's with the HIV.
That's
not-
like that. Well, that's what Chris Rock always said. There's no money in the cure. There's money in the medicine.
Yeah.
That's what I always think about when I think about HIV and AIDS. Is like they never tried to find a cure.
Yeah.
They're just trying to find a medicine you can live with.
Well, AIDS, I don't know if you can cure it. It seems like something that comes like later stage. And you don't know, do y'all think that maybe she should have been getting tested over the years and she did not know she had AIDS? Like
I
she was
think
trying to figure out what was wrong. And then the doctor just was like, "Oh, did you know you have AIDS?" And she was like, "What?"
I think that if the health of the economy, if the health of the US economy or the health of the Chinese economy was dependent on them finding a cure, I'm pretty sure they'd find a cure.
Yeah.
Rather quickly.
If enough people were dying, then they would be like,
We got a vaccine for COVID within a year. And it's not because people were dying. It's because markets were dying.
Yeah, but we've got I'm not even gonna go there.
You
I
should go there.
I was gonna say guns kill the most people, and that's
but they
also a market in and of itself, right?
Well, yeah,
So-
but they don't kill wealthy people for the most part, and they don't kill economies, and they don't kill the stock market.
Yeah.
and
So
That's all.
I
people
don't
give a shit
know.
about.
I don't know if it's like her fast lifestyle, if she should have been wearing protection, because she doesn't know when she got it. She said she could have contracted it when she was homeless. She was raped at one point in time, and someone stuck her with a needle, she said. So yeah.
Someone stuck her with a needle.
I believe so.
Okay.
Do not know who gave it to me or where. All I know is I was sick to death.
I agree that she probably doesn't know where she got it from, but I don't think somebody infected her with AIDS. I mean, if you're homeless, that means
Yeah, but
you've
you
lived
don't
a
think
pretty
that
peppered life
people
in
like
general.
guys try to drug up women to get them to have sex, and like maybe someone stuck her with a fucking
Yeah.
needle to give her heroin, or
It's possible.
or maybe it was her.
A lot of people drug themselves up too, though. That's
She didn't say she was addicted to drugs ever, but like maybe she's just not taking responsibility on her end. I don't know, but
it
these
seems more like a narrative. Like I'm creating this narrative where I'm the victim 100% of the time, and that's why these bad things keep happening to me, and not
Yeah.
I made some shitty decisions because
Well, no, she said that. She's like, you guys get tested. I wasn't doing that.
Yeah,
So she
Right.
knows that she kind of fucked up by not following up to get consistent testing. So,
Mm,
but I don't know. I don't know who's to blame in this situation. It's hard because, like I said, like V said, it could just be the poverty, like her being homeless on the street. If that's where she got it, it could have been that fast lifestyle she was living as an Instagram model.
Well, I'll throw
guys.
this out there. I'm 41 years old. I've been with, I don't know, 70 plus women in my life.
Mhm.
I've never turned one down because she said, hey, throw a condom on. I've never been like, oh, well, forget this. I'm out of here. Like
Yeah.
that's never happened.
Yeah.
And I don't foresee I don't see a reality where that would be true.
Yeah. No, I don't think that's true either.
No, it's
I don't-
better to have it with the glove than nothing at all.
Yeah. You just gotta be a little bit more firm on that
Well,
issue.
guys are animals. We'll just do whatever we're allowed to do.
Yeah.
We're the gas, you're the brakes.
I
I
also heard scalping is a thing, so some people do
Mhm.
that. So,
well, yeah,
Yeah.
you're talking about the
Where they pull it off. when
yeah,
they tell
pull it
you.
off. Yeah, that's guys are
Trash.
animals.
They're trash.
Look, we're trash. We are animals. Okay. We're the gas, you're the brakes, you know.
I
So,
should have a
I hate to
tranquilizer
say-
just having to sit next to this animal. you
look,
know,
I
like-
hate to say that there are gender roles, but in this situation, there really are. Like, and even when it comes to, you know, same-sex couples, like somebody's gonna be the more responsible one. And somebody's gonna be the one saying, no, we should do this right.
It's like
And the other
you-
one's
you
gonna
gotta
be more
compliment it.
reckless.
You gotta
It's-
compliment each other. Yin, yin, yang, yeah.
Well, no, it's just somebody's gotta be the adult in the room.
That's why I say a yin and yang. You gotta
Yeah.
compliment. each
And in
other.
heterosexual relationships, it's rarely gonna be the dude.
Yeah, I agree.
We're animals. We don't give a shit.
And then same-sex relationships, it's gotta be one of the dudes, right? Or
Yeah.
no.
I don't know. When they overturned Roe v. Wade, the main complaints I heard was from my straight male friends, and that was like, "Fuck," you know.
Yeah.
Now you can't get drunk and dumping her anymore because you're
Yeah,
gonna
you
have to
can't
have
even
that.
talk her into the
Yeah,
abortion
yeah,
unless you can fly
exactly.
her out of
Yeah.
state and
And as disgusting
Trash.
as that is, it's
Trash.
kind of eye-opening.
they're trash.
It's kind of eye-opening.
All right, you know who is not trash? What a great intro, right? I'm sorry.
Nobody.
Um,
Who's not trash?
our guest, Vee Shally. She is a
She's probably a little
writer
trash.
and a comedian. She is not trash.
Everybody's got a little
Welcome to
trash.
the Blamegirl
Thank
Podcast.
you. What an introduction.
Yes. Only the finest
That's
of
right.
introductions
We like
here.
to-
Not
at-
garbage.
We like to do it crazy.
So it's great to have you on. You're a new comedian, fairly. How long have you been doing it?
7 months, 7 to 8 months, more seriously.
How did you get started?
So I actually watched The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel back in 2018
Mhm.
and fell in love with the art form and wrote a bunch of jokes, got really into it. And then I chickened out to actually go on stage for the longest time.
Mhm.
And then I think right around 2021, I was like, okay, new year, I'm gonna, as a resolution, I'm gonna try going up at least just once, just to say that I've tried it.
So you did an open mic
Yeah.
before, like that's how you got in.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like that show. Mrs. Maisel. I tried to really get into it, but I just what a wreck. I couldn't get over that first episode.
The
I just kept thinking about her top lip. Like I feel like
She
the
had
show
really
would have been
nice
better.
boobs.
And I know that I'm gonna catch shit from the guys on this one, but I feel like it would have been better if they just would have not had that portion because it was so distracting. So distracting.
He's like, I can't even watch it.
No,
without
they
thinking
were
about her tits.
a perfect tits. I mean, like
No, she's really great.
I
Yeah.
know, but it was so distracting
I
from
kind of
every
remember
episode
that,
after
but I
that.
can't
I just
think
kept
it. I'm a
picturing
girl.
her topless.
I just remember thinking like, wow.
And I don't even feel
This
that
is
bad about
amazing.
this. I don't feel that
You
bad
don't
about
have to
this.
stop, right?
I don't feel that bad about this because
Right.
everybody likes nice tits.
I wanna-
Everybody, male,
let's-
female,
this is-
straight, gay, doesn't matter. Everybody loves nice tits.
We have a guest and we are really focused on the wrong thing right now.
We've got plenty of time.
Anyway,
We're
so
way ahead of schedule. We got time for tips.
So you went up at an open mic first,
Was
7 months
It
ago.
was actually the Jackie Sanchez's mic in Duke's Tacos. That was, and I think it was actually, it happened to be a contest mic that day. I went up, I didn't know that.
How did you do?
All right, I got a lot of applause. I'll be honest, I think I completely rewrote that event in my memory as like that was the best night ever of my life. People were clapping, they were cheering. I think my expectations were so low going in. I went in because I seen Mrs. Maisel thinking,
Mhm.
okay, no one's gonna listen. They're probably gonna boo me if anything. And so the fact that people just looked at me, I was like, wow, I must be
Mhm.
doing so well.
Yeah.
No, you really got to do something fucked up to get booed. Like booing isn't really a thing.
Yeah,
No,
I've come
No.
to learn that now.
Yeah, you don't get booed
So,
for just
unless you
something.
just really
No,
are
you gotta
a
be
piece
like,
of trash.
I've seen 2 people booed, and they were both at the Palm Beach Improv at nights
they
I
were
was
trash?
hosting. No, one was super racist, and I mean
Trash.
super
Trash.
racist, and the other one was super misogynistic. Yeah.
Trash, also trash.
Yeah.
All right, so
Just
then what was your
lazy
second
guy.
mic?
Probably the next week at Duke's Tacos.
No, but when did you finally immerse yourself into the comedy scene?
Okay,
Vee?
gotcha, yeah. Probably I went to a mic in Pompano, Black Flamingo,
Okay, Mike
Mike
Central.
Cintron.
Yeah.
Shout out.
and he was very supportive. You know, he was like, oh, like you do some interesting things.
I'm
And
sure he
then
was.
I was like, oh, okay, like people actually like what I'm doing. And I thought, okay, there is a audience for this because I feel like I don't like to talk about myself too much when I do jokes. I try to joke about things that are
Yeah,
like,
like historical.
yeah.
I noticed you did like historical
like
humor.
I did a joke on toothpaste, which I was so sure, and ice cream that I thought like people were gonna be like, okay, like who's this kid up on stage, like thinking, you know, but then adults, like, you know, they like that kind of stuff too.
No, there's
You do have a very kid-like
no,
appearance.
there's a market for, we'll get to it later, but like the type of comedy you do, you don't swear, you don't, the jokes that you tell are very like just about something that we can all relate to, maybe. So you've been doing it 7 months. Have you been performing at a lot of shows or?
So I wouldn't say a lot of shows.
Mhm.
I've done a handful.
Okay, so that brings me to my next question. What's your favorite venue to perform at? And you cannot say,
Improvs.
I haven't actually done the improv.
That's a
so
good thing.
Thank
You're actually doing the very smart thing.
you should do them.
I did not do that, and that was a very unwise decision.
You
on my
should
part.
hit that improv.
Get
ASAP.
good, then do the
Getting
improvs.
really
Make
mixed,
your
oh,
make a
She's
big
getting-
splash
she's
your
getting
first
very-
time out.
You got to do it at some point.
Yeah.
I think you should do it.
You definitely should do it.
I
Just do
started
it.
at the improv. I like did the
Oh, okay.
classes and I paid
too
for
bad.
that time on stage. So
Mhm.
I think that was a really good way for me to like. And then
Get-
I found out about the mics, but I think
Gotcha.
you're good.
Oh.
If you can get enough people, you can do the new faces and
okay.
I was
don't-
doing them simultaneously, but I'm saying you're doing the right decision. Get really good and then go to the improvs and make a big splash when
Okay.
you get there.
so you can't say the improv. What's your favorite venue?
So probably Boca Black Box, the smaller one,
Oh,
2.0.
2.0.
I like the Black Box stages in general, like
Mhm.
a more intimate audience,
Mhm.
and because you're completely surrounded in black walls, black ceiling, like it's distraction free, like you can just kind of focus on the audience. You're very one-on-one with them. You
Mhm.
can see their reactions. They can't like shy away from you. And what was fun about the Black Box audience is they seem very responsive, like they will like not quite heckle you, but they will say things in response to what you're saying, which is kind of cool. I've never had that. You don't really get that in the mics, so it was a different
What?
experience.
You don't
Yeah.
get the heckling at the
Yeah.
mics. You gotta go to
I've been
go to
heckled
the
in
talk
mics.
more.
Talk more,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. Mics are very much not respected by audiences.
So,
Somebody needs to take her to Swamp Grass.
well, we're doing that roast this week, Friday. So
Okay.
Jordan, our guest from last week, he's on it. I'm on the roast. Jackie's on it, and I can't think of anybody else, because you don't know Dom or anyway. But yeah, you should come check it out. That was
Yeah.
a
Two
beloved.
Jagger references on this one.
Okay, chill out. Anyway, so that's your favorite venue was Boca Black Fox. What was your favorite, what has been your favorite moment in your short time of doing this?
So after I did a mic at a coffee shop, this woman came up to me and said, "Oh, I really like that joke that you did, but this time you didn't say this." So the fact that she had not only seen me multiple times, remembered the
Remembered the
jokes,
joke,
had her
yeah.
favorite tags to go with it, and was upset that I didn't do that tag
That's
that night.
That was, yeah, that's nice. That
That really like felt good.
So,
really does.
what venue was that? You said a coffee shop?
Yeah, so that was the Common Grounds open mic that.
Oh, that's a
Jen-
clean mic,
It is a
right?
clean
Okay.
mic, yes, and it is an all arts mic.
I'm not a
need-
big fan of clean mics, but
I need to hit that because I got a clean show coming up.
I do,
September.
because I personally just don't feel like, art should be inhibited in
Yeah,
any
you're a white
way.
man, we know free speech and everything.
No, this is just anybody. If you got something to say it and
Yeah.
let the world decide
Mhm.
whether,
Yeah.
it's good or not.
If it's
Because-
racist or not, right?
I think
No,
that-
because the world will decide. What did I say? One of the only people I've ever seen booed was doing overtly racist humor with a face similar to mine.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like it's again, it's kind of like that free market thing. It's like the market will decide whether you get to continue doing this or whether you're going to be popular doing this. The market's going to decide whether it's funny or not. Because you could take 100 top tier comics, anything from George Carlin to Bill Burr, Chris Rock. All these things could be offensive if you chose for them to be. Go back and watch Bigger and Blacker. Watch the Bigger and Blacker special from Chris Rock and
I
tell
was-
me he
listen,
could do that
I
today
mean,
with
Terry, this is a
blowback.
lot. I was just
Right.
joking.
Oh.
Jeez. Okay, so V,
Mm-mm.
what has been your biggest challenge so far?
Mm-mm.
like I think you alluded to it. I don't know a lot of people in the scene, so I've struggled to make it out to all the mics. They're quite far from where I live. About
Where do you live?
I live in North Palm Beach,
I live in Palm Beach Gardens,
That-
like.
so it's I feel like then you'd understand. Like
Yeah, yeah.
most like the closest mic I think is maybe 25 minutes away.
Girl, you gotta do it.
consistently,
If you-
yeah.
Are you serious or not? You gotta do it.
Exactly. So it's that's been the real struggle is I learned to drive about 3-4 years ago, so I'm fairly new to.
Oh, okay.
Three,
You
4
didn't say
years
all
ago.
that. So that's a big challenge. That's a big
So
challenge.
I've become more comfortable driving this past year, really. And
Yeah.
so being able to drive longer distances.
Well, if you ever want to ride together, since
You're
I am moving though. I was gonna say if you're so since
you're
so
talking about
close.
driving difficulties and you're from an Asian country, like, do you really feel like that's the best thing?
That's why.
You're feeding into the
That's
stereotype.
Terry,
why I said I'm actually from North Carolina.
Boo, Terry, boo.
Okay,
that was
I'm just
racist.
saying,
That was racist.
you're feeding into the stereotype.
That was
that's all.
not a funny. Okay, so anyway, yes, challenge is being able to get out.
Get out to all the mics, really. It's the time constraint. It's 30 minutes to commute one way, 30 minutes back, and then you're there till late hours.
I
Most
hear
of
you.
us have
What's the farthest you've gone for a mic so
to
far?
hop in them.
What mic was that?
That's Mike's Insurance Black Flamingo.
Okay,
You didn't even go to
Is that-
Miami yet?
is that pumping?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Miami.
It's just
Do you-
it's
do you
very
feel-
it's very far west. I know
Do you-
Black Black.
Do you feel kind of pumping?
You haven't tried Spanx?
No. it's not on
Okay.
my list.
And then there's one up north that's
it's
the
Mul-
Casey and Spaz.
Yeah.
Have
You
you,
gotta go to Miami.
you
at
go to
some
Del
point.
Rey and stuff?
I did Delray, yeah, I did with so like Arts Garage or like that.
That's this week.
that
Arts
did
Garage
this
is tomorrow.
week.
What about the Coop?
The Coop, yeah, that's been on my list. I'm gonna go this week for the first time.
Okay. I'm gonna miss the Coop this
Excited
week.
about
I gotta.
that.
Wow,
show.
I'm kind of surprised. Like, these are some major rooms that you've been missing.
Yeah,
And then, like he said, Miami, you not even gone.
no.
Oh, well, I don't really.
You know
I'll
what
be
we'll
honest,
do?
I don't go to Miami for Mike's, but
We'll
maybe we
do-
should.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe like you'll feel better if we all go together.
Yeah.
And just do a
Maybe
mic
you
caravan
can
style.
send the toys, Mike. I can get one year older birthday.
Okay, well, maybe I'll send a DM.
Okay.
And I've heard things about, I don't know if they're true about Miami mics where it's like you may not get to go on at the end of the night, even depending on how they do the list and.
Well, so they do show, if it depends on who you're doing. If you're doing Miami comedy, that's Manny Garavito, and I think a lot of his are shows. And then he may have some mics after, but if you hit the host up before, like
You know
I
what?
think Dean Rushdi is hosting Thank You. Have you met Dean? He hosts Thank You Miami. You just gotta kind of try to reach out and be like, look, I'm coming from here.
Okay.
I want to do the mic. Can you get me up early after
They're still
work or
doing Red
whatever?
Bar, right?
Okay.
Yeah, Red Bar, they are still doing that, but there's no mic after Red Bar. That's just the
No, we'll just get on the show and we'll all go down together and we'll do the podcast from there and we'll give a little.
You know what? We can pop over to, because if we do that, Thank You Miami is afterwards, and we can get on the mic there.
Okay, yeah.
It's almost
So-
like I planned this.
Okay,
No, I'll
we'll hit
just
up
reach out to
Manny.
Manny. We'll get all three of us on Red Bar and we'll go down there and there we go.
Nice.
Perfect. All right, so let's talk about you as a person, Vee. Who are you?
Yeah.
Like, and that, what I mean by that, Terry thinks it's so ridiculous.
I
but
hate that question. What is
No
a
one
V?
asked you.
What is a V?
I didn't say that. I said, who is Vee? And like, so that means like, where are you? What's your day job? What do you do? Like,
Yeah. So I am from North Carolina. I've had to insist that 3 times
You,
today.
you keep
I
saying,
believe you. I don't know.
you say it so much it's suspicious.
You-
I
Did
Yeah.
you grow up in North Carolina?
did.
Oh.
I did. I spent all my formative years in North
Well,
Carolina.
she was from South Carolina.
We-
She's ashamed of it.
Worst, I would never be from Worst Carolina. That's my name.
Worst.
I'm from Tennessee and I know about the feud. There is such a feud between
Where's
those
Carolina?
Carolinas.
So what else about you, Vee? This is Vee's time, Terry.
Yeah, so
Mm.
we moved around a lot actually growing up before we kind of settled in North Carolina. So I've seen like little parts of the country. So I've seen like Kansas, I've seen New Jersey, seen a little bit of New York. So that was kind of fun.
Mhm.
And went to end up going back to school in the Midwest for school,
Mm.
and coming to Florida was a big change for
Was
me.
it better?
It's
I feel like as a minority, I feel like, oh my God, get me out of there.
You're
But I, you
barely
know,
a
like,
minority.
I will say, so
But
where
you
I
are from Texas.
where I grew up in North Carolina was very diverse. And I remember when I went to school in the Midwest
Okay.
I had my first lecture and I was like, okay, this is fine. I walked out feeling like something felt different. This wasn't the same like back home. And I realized I was the only non-white person in the lecture hall of about 200 students.
that's I hate feeling like that. But go ahead. I know what you, girl.
And it was funny because I didn't register that till after like the fact. Yeah, and then coming down here was also very similar. So I think going to school in the Midwest prepared me for Florida.
What you mean it was similar? There's all these brown folks down here. Are you serious? You feel the same?
I-
Like you've been in spaces where you're like the only brown person?
Yeah.
In South Florida?
I think the problem, or not problem, but the difference here is that
Mhm.
here when they say brown, it's often Afro-Caribbean, right?
Yeah.
So being Asian, it's
You
it's a
mean
little different.
Well, there's
Oh,
a huge
you're
Hispanic
Right, 'cause
population.
we're not-
too, So
it's not-
you're-
no, it's not the same.
It's
It's
not the
definitely
same.
not
No,
the
what I'm
same.
saying is
But
like,
nonetheless, I just feel like, especially maybe not for like Asians from like China or Japan, but definitely an Asian from like India or blank, you know, with those
Yeah.
roots, I feel like they're a little bit more brown. And
That's
it's
true,
all
yeah.
about the fucking skin color, right? It doesn't matter. If you're
That's true.
too brown,
That's true.
you can't be president.
What? Fuck does that mean?
That's what I used to say. but
Yeah.
Or if you're
Yeah,
right-handed.
I
Most
suppose
of
you
the
used to say
presidents are
that
left-handed.
prior to 2008.
Okay, so I know I used to say that prior
Yeah.
to 2008. So what do you do for work? Do you have a day job?
Yeah, so
Are you a comedian full time?
I wish, right?
Nobody is.
So I-
Nobody's a comedian.
So I moved to Florida to work in the energy industry about.
She worked for ExxonMobil, y'all. Oh my God, my
I
bad.
hope that's green energy you're
You got
talking about.
stuck? No, but seriously,
So-
you moved down here to work.
So moved here to work for energy. So we help out. We're like a small company. We do equipment troubleshooting. We help companies like figure out how we want to, we want to be more green. What should we do? They'll come and ask us, and we'll say like, oh, well, you can install solar like this, or you could do wind like that. So helping.
Well, it's
people-
Florida, so maybe cover, a third of the state that's uninhabited with solar panels.
There you go. They should hire you.
Don't gas him up, girl. Don't tell him that. No.
I read a recent study that
So-
said if 21 square miles of the Sahara Desert was covered in solar panels, we could provide power to the entire planet.
Cool, Terry. So V. No,
Yeah,
I'm
super
just
cool.
kidding, I'm just kidding.
It's just-
Do you know anything about this? What he's
It's
talking
actually
about?
really interesting to bring up the Sahara Desert for that, because I read a really cool study that said the Sahara Desert is linked like world weather wise to the Amazon jungle, and that the reason the Amazon gets so much rain is because the Sahara is such a desert. So I wonder if we did what you suggested, how that'll impact the Amazon.
Well,
Well, we're just absorbing solar
Planet
rays. We're not,
really is like a full being, like it works
Yeah.
together. It's
We're
so
not taking-
crazy.
yeah,
That's
but
so
you're not,
weird.
when you
Very
use
interesting,
solar
like
energy,
the
you're not
butterfly
taking,
effect.
So interesting.
yeah, but you're not taking anything away from anybody. You're
But
using,
you are blocking the desert.
Yeah, you might have an effect on
Yeah.
it. I know white men don't like to think like that because they want to be innovative and everything, but it could
dude,
have-
it's gotta be better than burning dinosaur blood, you know,
You mean the sugar cane or what are you talking about?
oil.
Okay. All right. So V, do you have any other projects as an entertainer? Do you have podcasts or anything like that?
Don't have a podcast, although I will say after doing this one, it does seem very fun. I like the idea of doing a podcast.
It
Well,
is
don't do
fun.
it on Monday nights, okay?
I don't think I can handle the pressure of a
No,
live
don't,
podcast.
don't compete.
Yeah, well, it's
I'll have
we're
fun
live
after.
and sometimes we get like a lot of viewers live and then sometimes it's just like I when I-
Everyone watches this when we're done.
yeah,
It's-
when I reposted
Gotcha.
and
But we do like doing it live because
sometimes we'll get comments and stuff.
majority of the time we do
Yeah,
actually.
and we'll be able to interact with
yeah.
our some of our
I'd say
viewers.
probably
like
7 out of
Trini
10.
is here. She'll
Seven,
watch it.
7 out of 10 times we get people commenting.
Mhm.
Usually it's Jason Pellish, but that's
Carlos.
but
Like,
yeah, but at least we get some interaction. We get
some
to
people want to listen to us live, and we thank you for it. But anyway,
Yeah,
so are you ready to play the blame game?
okay.
okay, you're Indian. Who's to blame? No.
He doesn't write these. This is my blame game. I am blame girl. Okay, you keep it fairly clean. Who's to blame? Why do you do that?
So I was thinking about this for a while and I thought, okay, well, I came from a very like a Catholic school upbringing, so part of it is I just didn't learn a lot of the bad words until very late in life. I'm out of practice using them. But in a more serious manner, I just think there's an audience for it. Like, for example, the clean mics that I go to or the all arts mics, like that's a crowd of people who they like comedy, they want to engage in comedy, but they don't like hearing bad words, so to say. So I think they should have a chance to still enjoy humor. And
There's a market for that, girl.
Well, there's actually more of a market because you can get hired as a clean comic a lot faster than you can as
Yeah.
a blue comic.
You gotta get
Um,
as soon as you get good, get Renee tape.
There-
She's always looking for.
Okay.
Yeah, the
to
plain
know.
comics are very much more hireable, especially in the private sector. When you talk about private shows, corporate gigs, things like that, they
Mhm.
all want clean
And they pay
comics.
a lot more for those.
And they
gigs.
absolutely do. That's very true. And most people.
But you in the energy sector, you
most
don't even
people-
need that money.
Well, most people say that clean comedy is a lot harder than doing blue comedy. And I happen to
Oh,
agree with
yeah.
that, even though I'm more of a
Absolutely.
blue comedian. And I talk about crazy shit and I say crazy things and but
You know,
it is a harder, you're keyholing yourself.
it would be harder for her to do blue comedy, I feel like, because she wasn't raised like that.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Well, I'm a pastor's son. I wasn't raised like that. That's
But you're
I
a white
wasn't-
man who believe in free speech.
I'm a blue
So-
comedian because I was raised a pastor's son.
I'm sure.
And it just
Bob
all
Saget
built
was a
up.
pastor,
And,
so it doesn't matter.
well, and look at him. All he did was talk about cocks
He
and
was
cunts
very
the whole
blue.
time.
He was the bluest.
He's the bluest. That's
So-
right. It wasn't all America's Funniest Home Videos.
Well, there's a market for that. There's a market for the clean. So there's a
There's a
lot of
market for
room.
everything.
There's a room out here for all of us.
That's right. That's why I don't believe in cancel culture.
Y'all see the podcast is just coming through.
Yeah.
Fuck,
I-
you know?
That's why I don't believe in cancel culture, because the second one group cancels you, another group will hold you up on a pedestal and pay you to do the same things that got you canceled. So
All right. V, you got anything coming up you would like to share?
Yeah, there will be a show in, I think, like Sarasota, Tea Ladies in September.
my God, we're on the
I
same
know,
show.
I'm really excited about that.
Maybe we'll carpool.
Yeah,
Especially-
because it is so long, I haven't figured out.
Yeah,
so-
and Joanna's on it too, so
Okay.
we'll figure it all
Oh,
out. I gotta
perfect,
call
yeah.
her later tonight, so,
Okay.
all right.
And then I guess a little more sooner, there will be a show in Boca Black Box 2 in August, end of August.
Awesome,
It'll
awesome.
be a good time.
All right, do you want to give out your social media or anything else you would like to promote?
Throw your handles out.
Yeah, there's only one, it's easy to handle. It's Vee Shally, just my name, VeeShally. It's on Instagram.
And if you want to find her on Facebook,
She
fuck
ain't there.
yourself. She ain't there.
Or on TikTok.
No,
I was like,
no
this
way.
millennial gotta be on TikTok. I couldn't find
No,
it. So I was
No
like,
way,
okay.
no way.
Me neither. I'm on there, but I'm not.
You seem like a good girl, like a very
I'm
nice.
a millennial, but I think I do it wrong. Like I write all my comedy in a notebook. I can't bring I know people bring up their phones to like, I can't do that.
No, but some of the, like, my girl Patrice, who I have a show with, well, I'll get to my shows later, but
Mhm.
Patrice, she is always on me about the phone, and she's like, I'd rather you take a notebook on stage. But
Really?
I've become very reliant on my phone, but it's okay. Like, I don't take them on when I do shows. Like, I had a show anyway.
That's a big rule. Notebooks, phones. If you bring one on and you're like, let me check my phone, let me check my
Look,
notebook on stage.
You better be able to fucking freestyle.
No,
Like,
no,
if
that
you
is
forget
a-
your jokes, freestyle, bitch.
That is very much a big no-no.
Yeah.
It's almost as bad as wearing shorts on stage.
All right, so Terry, are you gonna do creme brulee while you do words for white people?
I'm gonna do both.
Okay.
I made creme brulee this weekend. So I'm gonna toast this for Geo and for V so they can have it after we're done here. And Shandy gets some too.
Talk about white people too, though.
No, we're
They won't-
doing this week.
It's all people.
Is it, am I on? Is this it? Is that the thing? All right. So this week, we're gonna do creme brulee. We're gonna toast it up for these ladies, and we're just gonna take a victory lap. We're gonna take a victory lap on Donald Trump because I've been talking about Donald Trump for, I don't know, how many years? 2.5 on
Too
this
many.
podcast
Yeah.
over and over and over again. And finally, Rupert Murdoch,
Sounds good.
after all this, after all the damage that has been done, has finally turned. All right, stop it.
Make sure they can see what
I'm
do.
gonna do, yeah. Rupert Murdoch has finally turned on Donald Trump, which has turned the entire Republican Party to an extent away from Donald Trump. They have finally had enough. I don't know if it was the December 6th hearings. I don't know if it was his response to them. I don't know if people have just had enough, but they've had enough. And when Fox News says no more of you and you're a Republican, that's not a good sign, champ.
Mhm.
And I think we might actually be done with Mr. Trump once and for all forever. And that, to me, is worthy of a victory lap because I hate that man more than I can possibly state to any of you. So I'm glad to see him gone. Ron DeSantis is a Donald Trump light, but I'll take it. I'll take it. It's one step back towards sanity.
I will be campaigning against him if he runs.
That's fine. He can run.
I'll
He
campaign
might
against
win.
him.
He might lose. It really all depends on where the country is. I'm fine with it either way.
Not campaigning.
As long as a man
Working
with
for
a
the
name
campaign.
Trump is not holding the nuclear codes, I'm fine with it.
All right, and that's
Delicious.
That's this week's word for people.
No, that's words for me. The first ever words just for Terry.
Gratification.
This
for
is
Terry.
Terry Wayne's words for Terry Wayne.
Terry, you got any shows coming up?
No, but you can check me out on my other podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or YouTube. The worst ones, just 4 preachers' kids talking about God, talking about politics, talking about religion, talking about life.
Wildly more popular than this podcast for some reason.
You got that Christian money. That's what it is.
All right, if you want to see me this week on shit, I should have pulled them up.
Yeah, you should have.
and Maybe I'll do that real
She
quick. Let me just tell you where I'm gonna be at, where you'll be able to find me this week. I am gonna be on the 3rd. I'll be up in Vero Beach at the Grind and Grape. I think it starts about 9:45. It's gonna be a late show.
Hmm.
So come on out. And then on August 5th, I'm gonna be at Swampgrass Willie's. We're gonna be roasting Jordan Garnett, who was our guest last week. And then on Sunday, I'll be at Fat Fish Blue in Orlando. That is August 7th, and the show's at 7:30. We got a good lineup. I'm hosting, so come out if you're in Orlando. All right. And other than that,
I just burnt myself with melted sugar.
until next week, we're gonna go eat this melted sugar. Hopefully Terry didn't put his fingers in it, but that's what she said.
You
All
hope
right.
it's my fingers.
All right, we'll see y'all next week, guys. Thank you.